Welcome back into the new Killer series. In today's video, we're going to talk about The Thing. We'll go over exactly what Behavior Interactive would have to do to license The Thing into Dead by Daylight. This is a really hyped license, and after exploring this license, we'll speculate if The Thing is a killer Behavior would even pursue.
As far as the obscure licenses go, it's a lot of work, and I'm not sure it's totally worth it, but some of them would be really cool, and I'm not saying we'll never do that. But yeah, there are a few, like, let's say, more cult, more obscure, but if I had to name one, I'd probably go for Pinhead.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Schmuckles. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. I also stream on Twitch on Wednesday and Sunday nights. The link for that is in the description below. We've done a ton of licensing videos on this channel. If you have a dream license that you'd like to know more about, we've probably covered it. To see all the licensing videos we've done, you can click on the title above. Let me know in the comments below if there's any major ones you'd like to see. When looking online, I found a whole bunch of Thing fan-made concepts. Most of the concepts focus on the classic 1982 film, bringing in The Thing as the new killer and RJ McReady as the new survivor. The new map in a chapter like this would most certainly be the Arctic base. The Thing is a parasitic extraterrestrial life form that assimilates then imitates other organisms. So if this chapter ever were to come into Dead by Daylight, the Thing would probably be a shapeshifter of some sort, and every survivor on the map would be at risk of the Thing infecting and imitating them. There's probably a whole bunch of different directions you could take a power like this. It would certainly be one of the most creative licensed killers we've ever seen. A little background: in 1938, John W. Campbell wrote the novel Who Goes There? The story follows a group of people who are trapped in an Antarctic research outpost with a shape-shifting alien monster. Interestingly, this novel from 1938 was adapted into the 1951 film The Thing from Another World. This was a black and white film and a box office success. And this version of The Thing looked more closely derived from Frankenstein. It's not as highly praised as the next film in the franchise. In 1982, The Thing was released. The film was directed by John Carpenter and starred Kurt Russell as RJ McReady. Although this film initially received negative reviews by critics in 1982, when it was released on home video, it became known as one of the best science fiction and horror films ever made. The practical effects were groundbreaking, and the true appeal of The Thing is that the monster truly has no form. The 1982 film was produced by the Terman Foster Company and distributed by Universal Studios. The Thing's success led to a series of films related to the franchise: Prince of Darkness in 1987, In the Mouth of Madness in 1994, and The Thing in 2011. Also, as of August 2020, The Thing reboot is in early development with Blumhouse and John Carpenter. As of last year, this project was still in early stages and no other details have been hammered out, so there's no release date yet. Universal Pictures distributed The Thing from 1982, Prince of Darkness, and The Thing from 2011. New Line Cinema distributed In the Mouth of Madness. So in order for Behavior to license the 1982 Thing or the 2011 Thing into Dead by Daylight, they would need to go through Universal Studios. They own the copyright license. So Matthew Cote would need to reach out to Universal Studios and negotiate a contract with them. And we're going to go over exactly which people he needs to reach out to later in this video.
Essentially, getting in touch with the right people is usually the hardest bit. And once you know who you're talking to and the person is like, yes, I can make those kinds of decisions, it was a simple enough conversation.
Interestingly, the rights to The Thing from 1982 could have changed license holders in 2017. 2017 marks the 35-year period after the film's initial creation, meaning that the screenwriter Bill Lancaster could have reclaimed the US rights to the property through the Copyright Act of 1976. However, Lancaster passed away at the age of 49 in January 1997. So for whatever reason, whoever inherited his estate did not push to gain the partial rights back to the screenplay in 2017. There's no record of Lancaster filing for this in 1982, and there's no record of any lawsuits or the trademark rights being renegotiated. In 2002, The Thing video game was released. It's a third-person shooter survival horror video game published by Universal Interactive. It's actually a sequel to the 1982 film. This whole project went through Universal. I wasn't sure if the licensing rights for John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982 would be through Universal or the Terman Foster Company or both. The fact that the end of the trailer for the 2002 The Thing video game clearly states Universal as the trademark owners, I feel confident that Universal controls the video game licensing rights to this IP, but we'll expand on this later. This article from 2014 talks about the development of this video game. Apparently 20 years after the original film, Universal was looking to resurrect the franchise and explore potential video game adaptations. When Universal began searching for companies to develop their idea of a game based on the cult horror movie, Evolva unsurprisingly caught its eye. They approached us and asked if we'd like to pitch for the license, says Curtis. So we started reskinning a level of Evolva into an Antarctic base with a freaky Thing beast at the center. There wasn't much more to it, but it was good enough to get the job done. There was concept art that was was leaked for a sequel to this game, but this sequel was actually canceled. There's no question that this 2002 game is now outdated. We know that Universal is definitely trying to reboot the entire franchise. I'd say that if Universal is shopping around to reboot the franchise in a video game just like they did before, Behavior would be one of the first companies on that list to adapt the thing into a modern video game.
People now see, we've shown time and time again, that we are able to respect the property that they've created and pay homage to what they stand for and honor them in a way that is respectful, and it's just a great way to showcase what your universe is.
Behavior has shown that they're capable of adapting movie licensed monsters into DBD, and the map Mount Ormond Resort shows that an Antarctic-based snow map is definitely possible. I mean, Ormond is a Canadian map, so it's not exactly the same location, but I'm sure using similar textures, colors, and snow particle effects, Behavior could create a new snow map based in Antarctica. One of the biggest things we learned from researching the 2002 video game is it reveals the Thing license holders. Behavior would need to get the rights to the Thing, the character RJ McReady, and the Arctic snow map through Universal Pictures. And they need to get the likeness rights to RJ McReady through Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell does have Twitter, but it's not super active. Nobody from Behavior follows Russell. Universal Pictures has so many different horror IPs, it'd be hard to speculate if Behavior's ever working on licensing the Thing into DBD. John Carpenter was the director of the Thing from 1982, and the UX game designer on DBD follows him on Twitter, but she could just be a fan. Interestingly, in 2017, Universal announced that the Universal brand development expanded strategic focus on game publishing. Chris Heatherly is the executive vice president of games and digital platforms on Universal brand development. This is the picture of the leaders of the team. Chris Heatherly is in the middle. While the initial plans for self-publishing will be on mobile, Universal plans over time to expand to other platforms. The first titles from the new publishing efforts will launch later this year. Universal will continue to license its IP, strategically complementing its publishing strategy. In fact, on the Universal brand development website, they mention when they licensed the Back to the Future DLC into Rocket League. This is exactly the same type of third-party licensing collaboration that we see in Dead by Daylight. Rocket League is a standalone car soccer game that worked with Universal Pictures, and more specifically Universal brand development, to license a DeLorean skin into the game as a purchasable DLC. So the reason I bring up Chris Heatherly in this department called Universal brand development is because Behavior would likely be in contact with this team of people if they were to license any Universal content like The Thing into Dead by Daylight. We found multiple interviews with multiple Behavior developers talking about how they'd love to bring monsters into Dead by Daylight. We covered these interviews in these two videos. If you want to see one of those videos, you can click on the title above. We've never seen Behavior work with Universal on DBD or any other past projects. But Behavior does have connections with Compass International Pictures from the original Halloween, as well as Vortex Inc. from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Both of these companies have probably worked closely with Universal, as Universal does own some of the sequels for each franchise. John Carpenter, the director of The Thing from 1982, also directed the original Halloween. It's worth noting that Carpenter isn't listed as part of Compass International. Also, Konami developed the Thing video game from 2002, and they worked with the publishers Universal Interactive, and we know that the Silent Hill chapter was licensed through Konami. So I reckon that these three avenues are possible ways for Behavior to contact Universal if they want to license The Thing into Dead by Daylight. The Thing was on the satisfaction survey from April this year, and therefore this is probably a license that Behavior has talked about behind closed doors. Back in July, The Thing did super well in our most hyped licenses tournament, and placed higher than The Walking Dead. I bet Behavior will have similar data to show that from the survey. So I'd probably say that a chapter like this is possible for the future, but honestly there are probably other IPs that are more likely for the near future. If you want to know which ones and why, you can click on the title above. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.